My name is Mike Gore. To meet you.
Good to meet you.
As well.
Okay.
Lou?
Hello, I'm Lou Piles, and welcome to our board meeting.
Thank you.
Congratulations on being nominated and appointed to this board.
Thank you. We're excited.
Yep. Same here. Looking forward to it.
Alicia?
I'm Alicia Baker, and you're in for a ride. It'll be a good one. You'll learn a lot.
Kindred, have you met them yet?
No.
You want to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Kendra Heim. I'm the principal of the Open Door School.
Hello.
Welcome aboard. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Jamie?
I'm Jamie Garnes. I'm the Director of Service and Support Administration and also Early Intervention. Welcome.
Jeff?
I'm Jeff Townsend. I'm the Facilities Operations Manager.
Amy? I know it's difficult for you to talk.
Yeah, just wait, Amy.
Yeah, we can just wait. There we go.
Bless her heart.
Amy's our Director of Finance and Personnel.
Larry?
I'm Larry Whaley with IT Specialist and Fiscal Specialist.
Most important guy here.
Absolutely.
I'm your host tonight.
Well, in March of 2020, all IT guys across the country became the most important employee of their organization.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
been fun.
Does that mean you're going to give him a raise?
Can't afford it. So, Debbie, before you go on, I just wanted everyone to know that Sarah and Brandon are both parents. I believe that Brandon has a small child and daughter.
Oh, just one.
Okay, and do you have a daughter?
Nope. We just have one child, Cameron.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Sarah also has a son that's 20, correct?
Yes,
okay.
correct. Yep.
So, and they're both eligible for services. So we are very glad to have parents that are fulfilling that role. And also they're both in hospital administration. Sarah works at KDMC and Brandon works at Cabell Huntington. So just wanted to give you a little bio. I am going to be doing a press release on both of you. I wanted to wait until we just had a press release on our COVID clinic, but I'm going to be submitting that next.
Okay.
So thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
And the only one that's not with us tonight is Steve Thompson, and you met him in December also.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to bring Lawrence County Developmental Disabilities Organizational Meeting to order at 6:04 on January 12th, 2021.
Mrs. Baker? Here. Mr. Gore?
Yes.
Miss Jones?
Here.
Mrs. Marks?
Here.
Mrs. Piles?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Okay, in December, they did.
No, we need, are you doing the organizational?
Yes,
Okay, sorry.
that's okay. In December, there was a nominating committee meeting scheduled, and through a series of unforeseeable circumstances, they actually held it over the phone. Is that correct?
They didn't actually hold it, but they didn't have everyone there, but they did give input to Lou, who is over that committee on a slate of officers.
Okay, so Lou, do you want to present the slate of officers?
I do. The committee decided to hold the same officers that we have had for 2020. Debbie would be president, I would be vice president, and Steve would be the recording secretary.
Okay, is there a motion to nominate the following slate of officers for 2021?
Debbie, I think it would actually just be a motion to approve that slate of,
Okay, I was just reading from the paper.
sorry, yeah.
Okay, a motion to accept this slate of officers for the year 2021.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Marks,
Yes.
Ms. Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, the next order of business would be to set the date and time and location of the monthly board meetings. But for the next couple of months, until we're able to go back to in-person meeting, we probably still need to do the Zooms. So I need a motion to say when our meetings are going to be. Do you still want to keep them the same at 6 o'clock, the second Tuesday of the month?
I'll make the motion to do that.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Was that Sarah or Alicia? I couldn't tell.
It was Sarah.
Sarah.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Marks,
Yes.
Ms. Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Debbie, I just wanted to mention we are allowed to meet virtually until July 1st. And I think we'll just continue Zoom until further notice is what we'll put in our board schedule.
Okay. Okay, just to let you know that board members in service, we have to do 4 hours of in-service for the year. And do we have anything, Julie, scheduled yet?
No, but if you want to do it like we did last year, especially if it's on Zoom, 1 hour is really about all you can do at a time. And so I'm recommending that we do 1 hour, maybe before or after board meetings. And then maybe at the next meeting, I can give you all some topics. We're still waiting to hear from Director Davis on what the recommended topics are this year for board members.
Okay.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, it is with me.
Yeah.
Would you prefer an hour before or an hour after?
Does not matter to me.
Either one.
I can do before. That'd be good.
Before?
Yes.
So like at 5 o'clock, would that work for everyone?
I might have to hop up every now and then because Diane will have to eat. I can't feed her any earlier than 5, unless I don't give her lunch.
We can just do after, and then that way everyone can
Before's fine, but you know,
5.
yeah.
Okay. I will get some good speakers lined up then.
All right.
And then we'll, are there any months that are off the table? Obviously we don't meet in July, but try to do, you know, one through each quarter. So maybe we could do one in, we could maybe do one next month, February,
Okay.
because we have 4. So if we did one in February and then April, let's say June, and then one in the fall and like September. That way, if we have to cancel, we'll have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Are you all okay?
August might be busy for us since we're not here in July.
Well, I have September.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't have August. I just have February, April, June, and September.
Yeah, September would be good.
Or we could do, if you want to stay away from June, I know May is horrible usually. June, people sometimes are on vacation. If you want to wait and do one in October instead of June, we could do that.
Either one, Julie. June's fine for me, or October. Whatever you want to do.
Is June okay for everyone? Okay, so I have February, April, June, and September. And then now all I have to do is get the topics and get some speakers lined up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Board committees and members. We have the Ethics Committee. Brandon Smith, Sarah Marks, and Mike Gore on the Ethics Committee. Finance Committee will be Steve Thompson, Lou Piles, and myself. Nominating Committee is Steve Thompson, Mike Gore, and Brandon Smith.
The really out of all the committees, the one that is the busiest is finance. The other committees, the ethics committee does not meet that often. It's only on an as needed basis to look at contracts where there might be a conflict of interest. That's the purpose of it. And then the nominating committee just meets one time a year in December to put forth a slate of officers for the next year.
So I need a motion to approve the appointed committees and members.
I'll make the motion. Go ahead, Mike.
You go ahead, I'll second.
All right.
Mike seconds.
Ms. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Marks,
Yes.
Ms. Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay. The annual declaration of eligibility for board members. There are 2, 3 that need to be done, and that would be Lou and Mike. Do you guys want to receive that by email or by mail? Because you have to answer the question, sign it, and send it back.
Email's fine for me.
Okay.
Yeah, email's okay.
Okay.
We do regular mail, I'm not telling you.
So then will you be sending it back by email, or will you just drop it by the office or mail it?
I'll just send mine back by email.
Okay.
If that's okay.
That's fine. You'll do the same, Mike. Alicia? You're the other one that needs to fill out the eligibility.
Well, actually, I sent in my resignation today because I took a different position at the VA. So my hours completely change and I'll be working 10-hour shifts. So that will keep me from being able to get to any of the meetings.
Okay.
We're very sorry to hear that, but we understand. But we're definitely going to miss you on the board, Alicia. You've been a great member.
Yes.
I will miss it. I really enjoyed it, but it's in good hands now. So that's a good thing.
Well, I just feel fortunate that you were able to stay on until we got our 2 new members. We had a close call with Alicia a while back when she got a new job, and we were able to work around her new schedule. But so I just feel very fortunate that we were able to get through. You got us through a rough patch. So thank you.
Yes, Alicia, you'll be missed.
Yeah, I'll miss it too, but
Yeah.
it's a good career move for me.
Well, good. Congratulations on your new job.
Thank you.
So we will be submitting an advertisement tomorrow for that seat, and it is an at-large seat, which means, you know, there's no specifying qualifications as far as family member. So we will get that sent out and get the process started tomorrow.
Okay.
Congratulations, Alicia, but we will miss you. I will miss you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else for the organizational meeting? Can we have do we need a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Yes.
I make the motion, we adjourn the organizational meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
At 6:17. Okay. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Lawrence County Developmental Disabilities Board meeting, January 12th, 2021 at 6:18.
Ms. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Here.
Ms. Jones,
Here.
Mrs. Marks,
Here.
Ms. Piles,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Mr. Thompson.
Hey, we have a quorum.
Is everyone received their agenda? Is there any changes to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we adopt the agenda as presented. Larry, is there any public comments?
No, there's not.
Okay, thank you. Did everyone receive the minutes for December
Yes.
and have read them? Is there any changes to the minutes? I need a motion for the approval of the minutes for the December meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Marks,
Yes.
Ms. Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Board committees. Lou?
We held our organizational meeting and we have elected officers for the 2021 year. So that would be Debbie as president, me as vice president, and Steve Thompson as recording secretary. And they were nominated, voted on, and we are good for 2021.
Okay. Finance and expenses. Did everyone receive their finance reports? Julie, are you going to be talking or is Amy?
Can try it.
If you can't, Amy, I mean, I can go over it. There's
It's
not
pretty-
really a lot.
No, it's not. General fund revenues through the month of December exceed expenses by 2.2 million, 2.214. We've received 137.65% of budgeted revenues through December with the sale of the ECC building. And expenses are currently below projections through the year. We did a great job with expenditures. We did not report in December that Melina Justice resigned as instructor at ODS. She resigned on December 3rd, and she's currently working at Sims Valley. Kendra was able to replace Chrissy as Secretary 3 with Tanya Bailey. Tanya comes to us right now. Well, she was working as a substitute cook, custodian, and secretary from August through December at Rock Hill. But before that, she worked for the Gallagher Group from February of 1990 to June 30th of 2020, and she only left there because it closed. Her responsibilities included customer service, secretarial duties, purchasing, inventory, and design. We had over 150 people apply on Indeed for that position, and we feel very fortunate to have found Tanya, and I think she's going to be a great asset. Is there anything you'd like to add about her, Kendra?
No, everything's working out really well. She started when we came back after break on the 4th. We're just gradually getting her in there. Bless her heart, she might be bored out of her mind. She's been doing 160 trainings on that stuff that Larry put out there. Every time I go in there, she's glued to the computer doing another training, bless her heart.
We're going to try this week to do her orientation remotely. We're going to see how that holds out. We may have to break that up and do several different facets of her orientation, just she and I, but she's asked a lot of questions. We've gotten her paperwork. Just so that you guys know, the auditor's office is not allowing anyone to come down to do their paperwork. So that's been a challenging experience for both she and I. To do her paperwork, having the auditor's office just send us everything and for us to have to figure out what they want filled out and how they want it filled out. Because bless her heart, they sent her about, I don't know, 30 different documents. Wow. That we had to figure out what to do with, where normally she would be sitting in front of them, filling them out. And she's been a sport and a trooper. And I think we've finally gotten it all back to them the way they wanted it, but bless their hearts. Greg Klein's office is the only office, from my understanding, that has not had a COVID case, and they want to keep it that way. So they are not, especially their office, allowing anyone in right now because of that. So it's been very hard for new employees because of that aspect, but we're working together, their office and our new employees, to figure it out together. And I think Tanya will tell you that we've worked through it, and even though it was challenging, we were successful doing it. And I don't know how long this will continue this way, but hopefully if we have to do it again, we'll be even better the next go round. So I know probably their customers have had a challenging time, but it's also been challenging for new employees as well. So, just wanted to throw that little tidbit in because I didn't know if you knew that new employees weren't allowed to go down either to fill out their paperwork.
And if I can add something for the benefit of our new members, if you're wondering why our expenditures are so far below what our revenues are, that's due to a couple things. One thing is travel is way down. We didn't have any conferences this year that we attended in person. So there was a significant savings there, but the largest savings area is in our Medicaid match. And as I went over, and I'm just going to give it to you in little pieces because it's just really hard to grasp all of it at one time. But basically, we authorize services for people, these waiver services that are paid by Medicaid. And as I explained, we pay 40% of that match. Well, when the adult day center shut down and people stayed home and they weren't riding transportation, then that's a lot of savings because they weren't receiving the services. And the adult day services and the transportation services are higher. They are a higher rate than homemaker personal care rates usually. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm going to touch on it again down in the agenda. So,
And as you look at at December's, at the information I sent out, if you want to call me and us have a one-on-one and go over any of the information, because I just gave you the summary that the board's used to seeing, and I know they've seen it all year. I'll be glad to walk you through it. What I didn't get to tell you earlier, and it is a little difficult for me to talk, I'm fairly new too. I just came on board a week before COVID hit. So this is all fairly new to me as well. I came from Mississippi, from a community college setting. So the DD world is new to me in that I've been in community college for 20 years. So we'll learn together. And Julie's wonderful at explaining everything, but we can look at it piece by piece if you'd like. That will probably make things make a whole lot more sense. And there are other reports that we can look at. I'll be glad to go over with you if we need to, if that will help.
I think that would be helpful. I really do.
Okay, just as you have questions or if a topic comes up, I know for me, I like to see the big picture, and it took me a couple months because I was getting bits and pieces. So if we talk about a topic and you want more information on the financial aspect, just let me know, shoot me an email or call me, and I'll see if I can gather more information that will be more helpful to you.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And you can call me anytime, 24/7. So with anything.
She's got a vast knowledge and could probably answer it for you in 30 seconds where it would take me an hour.
Well, no, I don't have the deep knowledge of the finances right now, though. I know enough to be dangerous.
Together we could get you. She gets you the program, I'll get you the finances.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Are there any questions? If not, I need a motion to approve the December finance report.
I'll make the motion, Debbie.
I'll second.
Ms. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Marks,
Yes.
Ms. Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, superintendent report.
I did send a report in advance of the meeting. I try to keep it at one page. and just include highlights of the month. But the biggest thing going on right now is the COVID vaccine clinics. And we have been knee deep in that. We offered up our gymnasium and a lot of our staff time because our individuals were included in Group 1A under congregate settings. But of course, there were also other people from the community that came in. The next group will be those 80. Well, the next group is going to be their one last call for 1A. Anyone that was in 1A that didn't get it, they're doing one more clinic to get that done. And then next week, hopefully, they're going to start on the 80-year-olds. And then our individuals will be included in that 1B number 2, which includes people, well, first of all, if they're 80, obviously they're eligible. But the biggest group of our people will be in that group 1B2 for people with congenital disorders and or early onset medical conditions like type 1 diabetes, Down syndrome, things like that. So the state has already started working on identifying who we serve that is in that group. And then we're also supposed to cross-reference that and double check. We are right now, Jamie, we're well over 100 people that we serve, correct, on that list from DODD?
Between the first batch and the second batch,
Mm-hmm.
1A and 1B, yes.
Yeah. So we have a lot of individuals that will be eligible in the next week, well, after the 80-year-olds.
Yes.
So then when they move on to the 75s, age 75s, they're going to include teachers. So we will, well, not just teachers, school staff. So all of our school staff will also be able to get the vaccine. So we have had to do a lot of legwork on this as far as, getting, helping people get releases and getting medical information on those we serve. And we've already surveyed our staff to see who wants the vaccine. So there is a lot going on. We are planning on resuming in-person school 2 days a week. So that would put us at 50% capacity in our school, not the building, but just in our school program. So on Tuesday after Martin Luther King Day, we will have 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday students there, and Thursday and Friday students there. No students on Monday. And we did receive some pushback from the teachers. I don't know how, I know across, West Virginia, we've seen teachers demonstrating through their teachers unions. I don't believe that that's going to happen. They are a part of a union. Nothing has gotten back to me yet, but Kendra's done a good job. We've reinforced with them that, they're going to be eligible for the vaccine if they want it very soon. We've put all kinds of environmental factors in place. And so we just didn't, our students and our families are they're suffering. And they are suffering beyond what I can even begin to describe. Because this is the only, our kids are not able to do the remote, most of them. Some of them are doing okay, and then the parents just need a respite. That's the only respite some of them get. We have a very, our plan has been approved by the health department. It meets all the state guidelines. So hopefully, we'll be able to move forward. But I just wanted you to know, we did receive a little bit of pushback, but we did make a firm decision that we are starting back at 50-50, 2 days a week on Tuesday. So we will just handle things on a case-by-case basis. So that is where we're at. We are, like I said, knee deep in clinic. I do want to share real quickly, hundreds of people have been through our building now from the community. Hundreds, like probably at least 300 people. And we got a call yesterday from a man that was in the building, and his mother used to be a teacher, a foster grandparent at the old Open Door building. But he was telling Lisa that he just was shocked. He couldn't believe what we had done over there at the new Open Door, and how much better facility it was for the students that we served, and was so impressed. And he was donating $2,000, a couple thousand at least, to our program in honor of his mother. So I just thought that was, I knew that having a shot clinic there, it's going to get people there and get people in our building to see it. And I just want you all to know that although we've had the public there, I've taken every precaution to keep our staff safe. We have a thermometer that's on the wall. They don't have to touch anything. Our staff, they don't even have to get that close with the forehead thermometer.
Right.
There's nowhere around. I mean, they can walk in and then our staff just directs them where to go. So just wanted to let you know that.
Good.
But if there's not any other questions, like I said, there's a lot going on. I try to do my best to summarize that. If you have any questions, you
Julia,
can ask me now about anything in my report.
are we still going to be doing the clinics there even after the school opens?
Yes, but it will be on Mondays.
Mondays.
I've already talked to Kendra, and we got the 360 machine with our funding from the state. Right. And it does a great job. You can clean a room in no time flat with that, sanitize it. So,
but the only place that they are is like down the one hallway. When the people from the community come in, they just come in the door near where Tammy is and go down the hallway and then into the gym?
Yes. Now we do have some of our staff helping. When it's our people that's coming in, we'll have an SSA in there to help coordinate things, to help them get connected with the nurse and just kind of to review their information and so forth. And then our nurse at Open Door has been volunteering to do shots, because the more hands they have to do shots. I mean, this is a huge undertaking for the health department, because they're the only ones that are getting the vaccine in Lawrence County right now, for the most part, unless you're part of the long-term care agency that's in a pharmacy agreement where you can get it through. But most of the people in Lawrence County are dependent upon the health department. So the more nurses they can get to give the shots, the more that they can actually distribute.
Do they have to touch, and this is probably a silly question, and I apologize for this, but do they have to touch doorknobs and things of that nature, or do we have? Okay.
The doors are all open where they're going.
Well, the shot clinic's closed, but we usually open it for them, because we have them waiting outside, and because we have to manage the flow, because we have EMS on staff that has to watch the people that receive the vaccine for 15 minutes. So we can't let the gymnasium get too full of people and maintain distance. So we got some of them waiting. So usually we'll say, 4 people can come in, or 5 people can come in, or whatever. But I mean, I can't say that. I mean, we're not really guarding that, but there wouldn't really be a reason unless, I guess, when you're leaving, you have to open it.
But I was just curious.
As they clean the doorknobs, though, right?
Yeah.
Is that a yes? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, Chris and Artie have been cleaning the doors periodically throughout the day, every day too.
Okay. All right.
All right, so that's all I have unless anyone has any questions.
Okay. Old business. Julie, do we have any old business?
No.
New business?
Okay, letter A, we have the approval of the annual action plan. And before I pull that up, I wanted to share with you just real briefly some of the survey feedback that we received. And I compiled it, and I need to find share screen. Hang on just a second, share screen. I'm learning how to do all this, so. And then we'll go here. And then,
You've been working with Larry.
that's not what I want. Actually, I'm gonna pull this up first. This is our strategic plan. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a progress report. We have to do this every year. This is in rule, and it's just where, what we have actually done. I usually try to condense this, but I just didn't have time this year. The main thing is that it's done. And so I did email this to you if you want to sit down and read it, but we did use this. We look at this as we plan for the future on, what we accomplished and what we didn't accomplish. But basically, the way this document is set up, it's in a shared file, and the directors have access to it. And then when they do something, they have to go in and update it right then, is what I like for people to do. So this just gives you an idea. I'm not going to go through every bit because we'd be here all night. But if you want to look at it, if you have any questions, please feel free to call me. I am more than happy to go into more depth and detail with you. But we are required to have a report that shows what we actually did. And there's a lot of things, we didn't get to do. One, because of COVID, and two, because of the levy failing. But we did use this as a jumping off point to our strategic plan this year. So anyway, if you want to, this is just, there's just a lot of information here. But if I could sum it up in a few sentences, we got our building moved. That was in our 3-year strategic plan. We got rid of buildings. We no longer have all the expenses associated with buildings we're not using. We're in a nice new safe building now for our school. We got our technology upgraded, and again, thank you for allowing us to do that, because we were ready in March to go completely virtual, and we wouldn't have been able to do that otherwise. So those are some of the biggest accomplishments I see that we've made, and cutting excess out of our budget. We've cut over $2 million out of our budget in the last 3 years. So if I could those are probably the 3 biggest accomplishments that we've made. We got a lot of work to do, but we have made a lot of progress. So before I shut this out, you all have any questions?
I don't.
Okay. Let me move on to the next one. And this is going to be, okay, let me find it here. Yeah, you just have to bear with me here, sorry. Okay, I can close that out. Okay, there we go. Now I want to go to, that's the staff data. Oh, what? That's the one I was just in. Here it is. Okay. So can you all see this?
Yes.
So this is not, when we had a communications director here, which we no longer have, he compiled all this data into fancy reports. I just did the best I could. So with the time that I had. But basically this is the community survey that we sent out, and that would be to all of our stakeholders, individuals, served, families, guardians, providers, community partners. So we got a total of 78 returned, and this tells you who returned them. So 50% was someone receiving services themselves. And then the next group, 39% was a parent or guardian. And then the next one was service provider, collaborative agency, local government, and then just other that wasn't identified. So that's who actually responded. And I asked 10 basic questions, and I just asked for yes or no, because people, the good thing, I mean, surveys are great, but I think people are so inundated with surveys anymore that I'm trying to keep it very simple and straightforward, and do focus groups to try to drill down and get more helpful and more directive information. But for the survey, it was either yes or no to the questions. And then I gave them a chance to comment. So the first one was, do we provide quality services? As you can see, 74 out, and obviously not everyone answered every question, but as you can see, 74 people said yes and 7 said no. And then these are our comments, and all of this again was used in the development of our current strategic plan that is going to go into effect this month. So if you just look at that, we manage our money. I mean, overwhelmingly, the responses to these questions were good. Leadership is supportive and helpful. Yes. Now, some people had some bad things, negative things to say, which is, we try to capture all that. And again, this is one survey. We do other surveys, like we have an intake survey now. So anyone looking for services, they do a survey, and there might be like the 1 through 5 scale. But this is just one where I'm surveying a large group demographic, and I'm trying to get some basic information. And then we do always try to do other surveys more specific to the program. But I'm just wanting to know, does the community at large, do they think we provide health and safety or ensure health and safety? So as you can see, the majority of the feedback was good. Of course, employees are dedicated and responsive. Way more than not said yes, but there's always going to be not all of them. So this is the input from the community and those we serve. And again, I really studied all the feedback and incorporated it into the strategic plan. We will address it. So as you can see, overwhelmingly, and these are what I call just the bread and butter issues. There should be no question that we're doing these things, these 10 things, which it looks like, we are. And then the next thing I asked them, I did like a SWOT analysis. I asked them what our strengths are. And these are some of the responses I got back for the strengths. Some of these I put verbatim that I received, but some of these were repeated, but I just put it one time. on the document. And there are some concerns. There were several concerns about people feeling like they're not getting called back, and it's all of these are basically from the SSA department, which is our largest program. But I didn't want to put SSA on there because I don't want it to look like I'm throwing the SSAs under the bus. But the SSAs have, they're serving hundreds of people in a pandemic. So we're doing the best we can. Jamie and I have talked about some of these concerns, and she is already working on improving the customer service within the department and callbacks and so forth. And then it's heavily included in our strategic plan, customer service. And then threats were all around money and COVID. And again, this is from the community. So as you can see, we do have a heavy focus on customer service and alternate forms of funding in our new strategic plan. And then we want to really build on these. So is there any questions before I close this one out?
I don't know.
Okay. In the olden days, I would have had a nice meeting with dinner and we could have really went over this. But like I said, it's really hard when you're doing it remotely.
In the olden days, you act like that was several years ago.
It feels like it. Okay, so then I did a staff survey because I like to take their temperature every year, and I did a different type of a survey with them. I did the strongly agree, neither, disagree, or strongly disagree. So the first question, I feel valued. So as you can see, the majority at least agree they feel valued as an employee. And then it gives you all if you can see it, it gives you all of the percentages there. But well over 7 or into 80% feel like we are, feel valued as an employee. Then I asked about compensation and benefits. And again, the majority, as you can see down here, because I always put kind of the agree and strongly agree in the same category, that the majority feel that they're compensated fairly. This is one that I was concerned about. And just so you know, I also did virtual focus groups with all the departments, and I was able to drill down more into these comments and these numbers, and people were the people felt very strongly that had concerns about internal communication, that really needs to change, that they don't know what's going on. They don't feel they know what's going on across the agency. So one of the things I've started doing, I haven't really made an announcement yet. I'm going to, but I have for the last 2 weeks been sending out a memo to all staff on Mondays, and I'm going to continue doing that. So that everyone, and I'm going to give everyone an update on what's going on, the primary issues in the agency, as a way to try to bridge that communication. So and that is addressed in our strategic plan as well. But this is one that I did have. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but when I did the focus groups, this really came out. And I don't want, obviously we don't want our staff to feel like they're in the dark. So I was really been hitting everything about the COVID vaccine clinic, so people would understand what was going on if they're not, or, because a lot of our staff are working remotely. So I'm trying to do better about that. This is one I asked this year. I feel that our COVID-19 response plan is adequate to keep staff safe. The majority felt yes. The disagreed was 5%, or almost 6%. And I would say that I think most of those come from our school, because they're the ones that are working directly with individuals, which I've already touched on. But, you're just still, the overwhelming majority feel that it's adequate. So this isn't anything different than probably you're seeing in a lot of organizations or schools right now. But we have really, and Jeff can attest to this, done everything we can to make this place safe, to be flexible with people and their work schedules. Our school's been closed down since we had an outbreak in November before Thanksgiving. We're doing the best we can to keep, to try to keep people safe and provide a safe work atmosphere. Then I wanted to know and I was very happy to see this one because there was no disagrees. I wanted to know how they felt we were following our mission. And so the majority, as you can see, there was no disagrees on that. We are following our mission. We are effective at implementing our values, and I listed our values. And again, overwhelming majority. There was only 2.94% that put disagree. But the vast majority of staff obviously feel that we are implementing our own values. And that's important that we implement that the staff feel we're implementing those, which is safety, accountability, you can't see that, but communication, compassion, and integrity. And then I did the same thing with them. What are our strengths? And there was a lot about the staff. And I think one of the things people will not argue about here is we care about our people. And that's the strength that came out amongst the staff, is that people care. And I do want to, did you guys see this one? Caring and dedicated staff, knowledgeable and caring board members. So I thought that was interesting. They put that as one of our strengths, because it is one of our strengths, but I was surprised to see it in our staff. I just thought that was really nice.
That is nice.
Yeah. Of course, so a lot of it was around the staff. And then on our threats, there's a lot of feedback I got. And again, I got more feedback when I did the focus groups, but a lot of it's around awareness. People just feel like if we do not have awareness, we're not going to survive. So the public looked at it as funding, but the staff look at it as awareness. See, as you can see, all of these responses. Keep being open to the public, find ways with provider agencies to know what, there's just a lot of feedback on that. Okay, how can we improve? Okay, and again, even on how we improve, keep being open, look at ways to ward off staff burnout, which is something we obviously can always work on. And then this was the percentage of staff that completed the survey, where they came from. So we had a good representation across the agency. So any questions about that before I close this out?
Nope.
I don't have any.
I think it's good.
Yes.
And I've got one more. Okay, so the last one would be our actual strategic plan. We did not receive any feedback from the community. We put it in the newspaper, we put it on Facebook, and I sent it out personally to all of our staff. And there wasn't any feedback. So let me pull it up real quick, and that'll be the last thing I pull up. Okay, and that is right here. The only thing that is different from what you received already is we did not have a vision. It did not occur to me. This is embarrassing, and I think it's because when I came, we just kind of did so much at one time, but we had this as our vision down here, leading the way, achieving excellence. That's not really a vision, that's a tagline, because a vision is where you want to be because of your work. What is the end result of where you want to be? And so that is a good tagline, but that's not really a vision. So I have sought some feedback, and this is the vision that that came to my mind as I looked at a lot of different things and thought about a lot of different things. And that is people of all abilities feel included in our community, because if they feel included, then that means they're probably working, they have housing, they have relationships, all of those things. They have equipment they need, they're able to do things. The vision should be short, because what I want is I want staff to be able to recite all this. And if it's too long, people aren't going to be able to remember it, and I want it to have some meaning to it. So I wanted to get some input from the board and the admin team, because we haven't had a lot of time to go through the vision. But I mean, I've talked to some of you in depth, but do y'all have any feedback? Do y'all like have any input, or do you, what do you really think, you know, when you think of, and again, I wish we could have had an evening where we could have really talked about, what's our vision. But I mean, that's really what I think of, but I wanted to get some input from everyone else.
Julie, I like the vision that you have down there, and I really don't know what I would add to it.
I agree. I think it actually is very appropriate. It kind of tells everybody what the focus is for the group and for the team, and I agree. I think it's actually very well written.
I mean, I feel like I'm included in that.
Well, I looked at some of the, of course, I always try to research different vision statements, but I looked at some of my colleagues that I really respect. I didn't plagiarize anyone, but it gave me a feel for where we need to be. And like those people, they're not using disabilities anymore. It used to be we would put people with disabilities,
Right?
But it's really we all have ability. It's a very broad array of abilities that people have, and we shouldn't look at it as a disability.
Correct.
We all have skills and talents, and some of us may need extra help in certain areas, and I need certain help. I need help in certain areas. So it's not really focusing on, well, they have mental retardation or they have cerebral palsy, and then, like I said, if they feel included in the community, that in and of itself says a lot of different things, because to get to, again, the vision is the end result. So if they feel included, they've obviously received services they need, because they couldn't feel included if they are locked up in their house because they can't get out because they don't have a wheelchair, or they don't have supports to get a job, and so forth. So, and we're trying to change the verbiage to people instead of clients.
Right.
so that it's people, and people is infants and toddlers and adults, and it's just people. It's not
Right.
a certain group. We're trying to get away from group, just the people. We're all just people. And that's what we want our folks that we serve to feel like. They're just people, and they have struggles, and we have struggles, but we're here, and through our mission, which is promoting advocacy, inclusion, and personal growth. And I know, Sarah, now this has been our mission, but I know that I saw on your application that you felt that you had said something about advocacy. So I thought that was interesting, but that's what our mission is. We advocate, we strive for inclusion, and we want people to grow to their fullest extent, potential. But do you all see what I'm saying about that's a tagline?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm embarrassed. I don't know how it happened, but we were using that as our vision. And as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's not a vision. So this is just a letter that I'm going to do. And then I have on here, we have the 5 goals, and these are our objectives. And then I have action steps. And what I want to do is I want to make it really pretty. I can't find my examples, but I wanted to make it pretty, not exorbitant, like what we, something we can't afford. But, oh, here it is. This is Summit County. Of course, they're a rich county, but they have theirs like this, and they have, the letter from the superintendent there, and then they have all of their goals and their action steps and their contacts and the board members' pictures. And that's what I want to do. So I'm going to be taking all of this. It won't be presented to the community like this. I want it sent out something like this. But I just got to figure out how to do it in an economic way. But that's kind of what I'm planning. So we do need to get the 2 new board members' pictures done at some point as well. So, you all got this, last week, and, is there any feedback you have? This was really hard to do this year in the pandemic. It was really hard, but I feel good about it. It's not perfect, and I know I need to add a little more quantifying information to it on how we're going to monitor it, because but at least it's kind of, it'll get us started. And so if there's and this is a project, I really wanted to hire this out with a consultant that just didn't feel right about it with us failing our levy. But I would have, if you remember, I had said if we passed our levy that I was hiring this would be hired out. Mm-hmm. So I don't do this full time. So anyway, all I need, if you have any feedback, great. If there's anything you want to add, I'm just going to open it up for discussion, and then I'm going to ask you to approve it so I can get started on going over it with the staff and getting it published.
I think it looked like it covered, all the different areas and just showed the support, the focus on support for the community and for all the people that you're serving. So I thought it actually looked great.
Thank you.
Do you normally get into more detailed tactic steps, or just have more of the high level there for the strategic plan?
For the strategic plan, we usually do this, but then I'll have the directors do what I call like an implementation plan, mm-hmm. or like you said, a tactic plan. for their departments that they work on with their staff. And then what I'll do is I'll put it on the server, and I'm going to assign who's responsible. And they do their implementation with their staff, and then they use that in their own departments to report back, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, it does. No, I thought it looked great. I really did.
Thank you. I was a little concerned, like I told you. I said I've got two new executives on my board, and they're probably I know hospitals usually are top notch at strategic planning and surveying. They have a lot of resources to do that. So I'm really thankful that you're in support of it.
Absolutely. I actually thought it was very well written.
Thank you. It means a lot. Anyone else?
I don't have anything to add.
Lou?
I think it's good, Julie, and I like the vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like that.
Yeah, I do.
They are our individuals we take care of. They are our people. And that's what we strive to do all the time, is take care of them. So,
yeah.
And keep them included in this community. So.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. I got a text. Mike, did you have something? Did you have a recommendation?
I just moved some words around on your vision.
So you put, we see a community where people of all abilities feel included. I don't think I can't type that on there. So
it's just moving some words around.
Okay. We see a community where people of all abilities feel included. And that's more of like a different way of, I'm not a grammar expert or an English, but that's more of like, okay, this is what we see, rather than an already established fact. And I got the idea in Summit, they put Summit County as a community where people feel included. That is their vision. Because people are kind of getting away, because we see, are those words necessary? We see. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Not necessary.
Would it make it clearer as a vision if we added that? It's fine with me.
Not necessarily.
I think it looks good, and it's just very quick and simple, as you mentioned, that people can remember it very easily, and that's the important thing is to have your team be able to recite those things. So I think it sounds good.
Well, the reason I didn't put we is because I wanted to get away. I wanted the people first. Because if I say we see then, or we envision, I wanted it to be about all, the people. So that's why I put people first. But I'm open, like I said, to whatever. If you want to change the words around, it's your call. Because so what's the majority of folks feeling like?
I like people first. I'm sorry.
Because
it's about the people. It's not about us, even though it's good, Mike.
It does sound good, Mike. It sounds really good.
I like it the way it is.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So is there anything on this before I close this out?
No, not from me.
Okay. I'm going to close it and go back. So Debbie, After
Yeah.
all that,
We need
we need
a
a motion.
motion for the approval of the annual action plan for 2021 to 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the plan.
I'll second it.
Ms. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore, Mr. Gore,
I was muted. Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Marks,
Yes.
Ms. Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay. The OACB membership renewal.
Okay, so the Ohio Association of County Boards, they are our lobbying group. They are the group that helps us with legislatures and helps us get rules passed and helps us, basically is like an advocate for county boards in Ohio. So they have been instrumental in helping us navigate the pandemic when it started. They pulled together a communications team and has helped all counties make decisions and come to consensus on recommendations to the state when it comes to our field in regards to COVID. And so, I mean, they're invaluable. You all know that, the ones that have been here, you know that.
Absolutely.
They come down and do trainings, and we get legal services. And so anyway, their renewal is due, and they base it on the percentage of people that we're serving. So right now it would be 14,420, and I just need a motion to approve that payment. So that we can be a member again. I mean, continue our membership.
Alicia, was that you?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second.
They're worth it.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Marks,
Yes.
Ms. Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
The next one is the SOCOG. The Southern Ohio Council of Government is an entity that works on behalf of county boards, and SOCOG, and I will probably have her come and do a training on what they do again, but they consist of all the counties in this region, which is called Region 4, and they provide a lot of different services. We kind of pool our money together through membership, and then they provide services for us that are more expensive if we try to provide them ourselves. So their contract annually is $875 just to be a member, and then we also pay a $500 retainer fee for investigative agent in case something would happen to our agent and he was out of contact, out of reach. They would do that for us. And then the hourly rate. So right now what they provide for us, they provide our backup IA, they provide the MAQA reviews, which is med administration reviews on our providers, and they provide provider compliance reviews, and they process all of our certifications for staff, and then they also host, which we do contribute for this as well, self-advocacy groups that meet monthly. So they coordinate all. Used to be they would have a big meeting for self-advocates in Chillicothe. Now they're doing it virtually, but they organize it. So I just need a motion to renew that contract for this year. it looks like it's under my $5,000 limit, but the problem is that, we have to pay per hour for certain services. So I'm sure it goes above the 5,000 at some point.
Is that 90 days? Is that kind of what we've done in the past in terms of term and renewal? I wasn't sure if there's any downside to that, the 90 days, or if we just, that's a little bit of,
well,
if we don't see any risk to that, then that's fine to me. So,
well, yeah,
I just had a question, but it kind of jumped out.
Well, with them, there's not, because they're really an extension of us. We are their board. Like I'm on their board.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So that makes it a little bit different.
Okay.
Julie, I did have a question.
Uh-huh.
For the provider compliance, is that total correct? $650 per review?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise we'd have to hire someone to do it. And we did I think we had someone on staff do it at one point.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. But I can tell you they're not making any money, so-called isn't. Their cost of business is only like 3% or something. It's not as far as like what they're making off of these services. They don't exist to make money.
Okay. How often are the reviews done? Is it every 2 years or every 3 years?
Jamie?
Jamie?
For providers, it's once every 3 years.
3 years.
Yes. And SOCOG does some of those, and DODD also does some of those. They split them up. The medication administration reviews are also once every 3 years.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was 2 or 3.
Yeah. And we have about 20 of the medication reviews a year.
Okay.
An average. The provider compliance reviews, DODD assigns those so many per quarter.
Okay.
But it is something we do need to keep an eye on to make sure that our costs don't go over what we could do here. But right now, when we abolished one of our positions, that person did those. So we, instead of having another staff do them, we have SOCOG do them, because that's a very common thing SOCOG does for county boards. It also gives us a little bit of room between the reviewer and the provider, so that we're not the ones in that role of doing sometimes some very unpleasant reviews.
Looking at the other prices, I just thought maybe the decimal point was put in the wrong place. Okay, is there a motion to approve the contract renewal for SOCOG? I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Marks,
Yes.
Mrs. Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, extension of FFCRA emergency paid leave.
Yeah, so the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, it actually expired at the end of December, and that part of that was guaranteeing people 14 days of sick leave due to coronavirus related issues that was paid, as well as family and medical leave. So I am asking that it be extended through March 31st. Employers are allowed to extend it. through that time. And that would go a long way, especially with some of our staff that are coming back in person, who, have concerns. But there's just so many things that can put someone in quarantine or some other issue. And, since my recommendation would be that we extend it with us being a government entity. Unfortunately, we don't get any tax credit with it. I guess that some other not-for-profits receive, but I just feel like, we should do it. We do require people to turn in any medical documentation if they are off because of a COVID-related issue. So most county boards are doing this. There's a few that are not, but most are, and the association's attorney is going to be sending out even more guidance on this issue. That we have already had some staff ask, and I would very much appreciate the board considering extending this until the 31st of March. Are there any discussion you'd like to have?
I think it's very reasonable. Obviously, we're not over the hump yet with COVID at this point, so you just never know where you're going to encounter it, and I think it's definitely good to support the team there.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there a motion to approve an extension of the FFCRA emergency paid leave?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Sarah.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Marks,
Yes.
Ms. Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the revised open door school calendar 2021.
Can you take this one, Kendra?
Unmute.
Yes, I will be more than happy to take this. And I apologize. I have never changed a calendar so much in my life. I highlighted on the one that is this current school year's for what's going to change. Basically, if you start on the 19th, we're going to start on that split schedule. It shows you what districts are going to come on what days. I am asking to move parent-teacher conference. We had it on Friday the 12th. I'm just asking to put it on Monday the 8th since students aren't coming that day. That way no one's missing an instructional day that week. And then, Lord willing, March 1st, we come back 5 days a week. All students, all 5 days until the end of the school year. The only other foreseeable change, obviously, is if something would happen and we would get another COVID exposure or test positive, we'd have to adjust there. But if for some reason we got a snow day or something, the 2 teacher in-service days on March 5th and on Friday, April 30th, I would probably, if we had to miss another day, take one of those away. So we need as much instructional days as possible from here on out, whatever we can squeeze in there.
And Governor DeWine's stated goal is that schools will be in person by March 1st.
Yes. That's our goal. If I could do it on Tuesday, I would try it. But our little guys have just been, started off partial, came back full-time, went back to virtual. They just need some time to get adjusted to what a full day is gonna do to them and get back into that routine. And hopefully that about 5 to 6 weeks will give them that adjustment time, and then they'll all be ready to come back 5 days. So.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the revised Open Door School calendar for 2021. 20 and 21.
I'll make the
make it.
motion. Oh, go ahead, Mike. I'll second.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Miss Jones,
Yes.
Miss Marks,
Yes.
Miss Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, and then the Open Door School calendar for 21, 22.
That is something we typically do. We try to do at this time is get our calendar out for the next program year. So that's what you have in front of you.
And that is 5 days a week. 5 days a week and no virtual. We are going to be school 5 days a week next school year.
Okay. Any other discussion about it? I need a motion to approve the 21, 22 Open Door School calendar.
I'll make it again.
Oh, gosh.
Lou,
All
you'll
right,
second
Mike.
it?
Thanks,
I'll
Mike.
back you up.
Thanks, Lou.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Gore,
Yes.
Miss Jones,
Yes.
Miss Marks,
Yes.
Miss Piles,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Are there any announcements? The next board meeting will be February 9th, 2021, 6 p.m. on Zoom.
I am going to try to get a training in.
Okay.
Is there anything else? I need a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
And
I'll
I
second.
will second. Or Alicia.
Thanks, everyone, and I hope you have a great evening and rest of the